Hey everybody, it's Lon Seidman, and we're taking a look today at a pair of tablet stands from a company called Whip Labs. And normally I wouldn't do a review of a tablet stand, but these actually are pretty interesting. So when you touch them here, they don't feel sticky or anything. But when you take your phone and stick it to the surface of it, it stays put, and it actually gets a pretty good grip on whatever you're putting on the stand, depending on the materials being used. And I thought I would do a quick video just to show you how these things work, because they might be pretty useful depending on what your needs are. And for me, I'm always trying to demonstrate smartphones and apps and stuff, and it's nice to be able to have something that can hang on to my phone while I am doing stuff and keeping my hands free to gesticulate in the process of making my videos here. Now, I do want to let you know, in the interest of full disclosure, that these came in free of charge from Whip Labs. However, all the opinions you're about to hear are my own. Nobody is paying for this review, nor is anyone reviewing or approving what you're about to see before it gets uploaded. So let's get into it now and see what these stands are all about. Now, the little one here costs $39.99 and the larger one is $49.99. It's using a material called nano foam that doesn't feel sticky to the touch, but when you attach a device to it, it will stay put. And the longer the device stays on the pad, the more it gets stuck to it. So I found if I leave my phone on here for 10 minutes or so, I've really got to grab it to get it off the surface of the pad here. So you'll definitely want to be careful with that. In fact, the manual recommends that you don't leave something on it for more than a couple of days, because it really gets stickier the longer it stays in one place. And I can agree with that warning. Now what will happen is the stickiness will reduce over time as you get dust and other dirt on the surface here. But if you take out a damp cloth and just wipe it down and let it dry, it will regain the stickiness. And I did wash this one a little bit earlier, and I can confirm that it definitely gets stickier after you clean it. I guess they also allow you to buy replacement pads later if you need to, but they say typically just a little wash down should be enough. Now you've got a pad here on the front for sticking your favorite devices to it. It even works with my phone here, as you can see. And if you look on the bottom, you also have a pad there, same material, which gets it really stuck to the surface of your desk. And I'm finding that, again, the longer these things sit, the more they don't want to be taken off whatever surface they're sitting on. They recommend you don't put these things down on glass. Also, they recommend against putting them down on painted surfaces as well. And I would extend that warning to maybe really nice furniture and really nice finished wood, because these things do really stick on pretty tight, and I can see them pulling up whatever is underneath them as a result. So you want to be careful with that. It would have been nice for them to have offered the option to remove the bottom pad and maybe just have a regular rubber foot or something, because I could see this part being very useful. And although it's nice that this thing sticks so securely to the surface of a desk, I don't know if it's always necessary to have something that secure here when your intent is just to have a place for your phone to rest. Now they've got a few other warnings. The first is that you don't want to put these things in a hot environment. So anything more than 100 degrees Fahrenheit or 38 degrees Celsius will cause the pads to melt. So I would suggest keeping them out of direct sunlight. They also warn against putting them in a car, because a hot car would certainly get up to those temperatures pretty quickly. Another warning they have is about glass, because it really grips to glass quite effectively. And if you just put on a glass device like this iPhone SE, which has a glass back, you're going to have to really work to get the phone off of it. And if you put down a little bit of pressure, it's really going to hang on to it. In fact, in some instances, as you can see here, it's actually pulling the stand off the table before the phone comes off. And that tension could crack glass. And as a result, they're suggesting that you don't use large glass-backed tablets with these things, given how firm a grip it has on glass. Other materials are a little less grippy. So this is aluminum here on the back of my iPad Pro. And when I stick it on the pad here, it hangs on pretty nicely, but it's not going to resist too much when you pull it off. And I found it didn't fall off at all. And again, it gets stickier the longer the tablet stays on there. So that one wasn't too bad. I also tried out some of this more rougher plastic here. This is my daughter's iPad with the super rugged case here. That hangs on just fine. And again, it's pretty easy to detach it. I did find that some of the shinier plastic, like what I've got on my case here for my iPhone Pro 11, that sticks real nicely, a nice firm grip on there. And everything I've stuck to this thing just hasn't let go. It just sticks, and you don't have to even put that much pressure on it to get there. If you're finding that things are getting less and less sticky, again, a little bit of water with a cloth will get you going there. Even things like my Leatherman tool here will stick to the surface very, very nicely. So altogether, plastic, metal, glass, everything just sticks to this thing and hangs on pretty well. But again, just be really careful with glass, because it's possible that you could put enough tension trying to take the glass device off that it might actually crack the device in the process. Now, the build quality on these is very nice. They're all aluminum. They don't move at all, as you can see. They're super sturdy, so that's nice to see. I think it would be really cool to have a version of the small stand here that has a wireless charging option on it, because how cool would it be to take your phone out and just stick it to something and have it start charging automatically? That would be super cool. Maybe they can work that into a future version of it. And my only gripe really is the bottom pad, because I think a lot of people who have a nicely finished desk will be reluctant to want to use this stand on that, because it does risk damaging the paint or finish on whatever you're attaching it to. And because these things get stickier the longer they stay put, that can really be a risk, I think, for nicer furniture. And that, to some degree, limits their market for this thing. So maybe they could make a version where the bottom pad is optional, or you can stick it on after the fact, and maybe include some rubber feet as an alternative, because I don't think you really need this to be that secure on a desk. It just doesn't need to slip. Now, when you get it, it does have a plastic film over the pads, but it's really slippery. So there needs to be some middle ground compromise here for these things that out of the box will give you the choice as to whether or not you want to have it stick or just have it not slip. And I think that would have made this a little bit of a better offering. But if you have a cheap IKEA desk like I have, no problems. I'm not seeing any damage to the desk here, having these things stuck on it, as you can see. But again, those with fancier desks will want to be more cautious. So that is The Slope, and I am Lon Seidman. Thanks for watching.
This channel is brought to you by the Lon.TV supporters, including gold level supporters Tom Albrecht, Chris Allegretta, David Hockman, Brian Parker, Mike Patterson, and Bill Pomerantz. If you want to help the channel, you can by contributing as little as $1 a month. Head over to lon.tv/support to learn more. And don't forget to subscribe. Visit lon.tv/s.